Hello, Camille. Thank you for joining us. How are you?
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm good, and you?
My pleasure. All the way live from Brazil. Camille, you are a consultant, a negotiation consultant, in fact, and you work with startups, you work with small and medium enterprises all over Brazil. I'm sure you've got your hands pretty busy now with a lot of negotiations happening at this very moment. Can you share a bit about what kind of work is going on right now for you? What kind of challenges your clients are facing, and what are maybe some of the recommendations you have to be able to manage such a critical situation and negotiate through it?
Definitely. Yeah, I'm sensing that now negotiation is everywhere. So since law is not responding as quickly as things are developing, now people have to talk among themselves and try to create solutions outside what they would usually create, because it's an unprecedented times that came for everybody. So the entrepreneurs, it's interesting to see how first they are preparing and organizing the information they have and understanding better the scenario and everything, and then having to negotiate and having to create creative solutions, because the solutions they knew before are not just going to solve the problems, because the problems are different. So it's interesting to see. I have some examples, if you may, that we could explore on specifics on this having to be more creative part of negotiation.
Absolutely, please.
Okay, so one very interesting example is that as an enterprise from my city, from where I live here, they had because our lockdowns are starting in different areas. This enterprise had a lockdown on one area, on a shopping mall that it operates, but in another area it was open. So he could be open in one area and had to close in the other area. So what he wanted, of course, firstly he was like, yeah, how this is going to do, because uncertainty is everywhere. So you don't know exactly what's going to happen with the other shopping mall or the other area, but he had to prepare. So negotiation is everything about preparation. So you have to prepare yourself. You have to know the possibilities you have. You have to know the alternatives you have. So other possibilities outside the box you think into. And the interesting part of this was that on the first time we talked, he was very much into, well, pressure. So having to decide on this business. And at the same time, having to look on the competitors and what are they doing, because it was a well-established establishment on the city. And then he started to think, okay, what should I do? First thing that came out was, okay, since I'm also delivering, I can just deliver the things from this establishment via this address. So I can just change address and keep the client, yeah, from the closed place to the open place. Mm-hmm. So he would maintain these clients delivering from the address which was open, right? Mm-hmm. So that was the first idea. And then he called the delivery agent, and the delivery agent said, yes, we can change address, no problem. But then we will have to deliver from here to these clients, not to these clients. Then it was, why? Yeah, because, so asking questions all about negotiation. So why? And then the guy said, yeah, because we cannot just deliver from here to the clients there, because the costs are different. I mean, if we have this address, the guys would deliver from here. They would get the food from here or whatever and deliver nearby. So it's a cost. But from here to there is another cost. And so that's why we cannot. And then the client said, explaining to me, he was like, of course, I totally understand. I mean, if I would be on this other guy's shoes, I would do the same. So it makes all sense. This is interesting to see how empathy kicked in. So out of the cliche empathy thing and really into real life. So whenever he understood the other party's reasons, he could connect with that. And this wasn't an issue anymore for him. So he wasn't positional, trying to, no, please deliver to these guys. Please deliver to these guys. He understood what was happening. And then what was interesting about this is whenever he connected, so whenever he had empathy with the other entrepreneur, the delivery person, he could be creative. So he was, since I understood this is not an option, let me look into my alternatives. So what else can I do? What else can I create here? Because I don't want to lose these clients. I don't want to lose this guy. So he went with his car, everything protected, of course, there to see the other restaurants, the other business that were there open. So not inside shopping malls, let's say, because he couldn't be opening inside shopping malls. But what about the other options? All the other options in the same area, exactly. So he went there and he found like 5 open restaurants, which could, he got the contacts of everybody, which could maybe be a place where he could make his food, not inside the shopping mall because it was closed, but nearby in another place, and deliver from there, deliver from and not lose those clients. So that's what he's doing now. He's negotiating with the alternatives and not anymore with the negotiation he was having before. So it's a clear scenario where through empathy, through understanding the negotiator on the other side of the table, you empathize, you understand the reasons, and that keeps you with a deal of being together in a way you can, but solving your problem, in this case, not losing those clients, with the alternatives. So you can explore the alternatives, and it comes with also prioritization. So he prioritized not to lose those clients. So whenever we talk about interests and prioritizing the interests, you can also use this challenge times to prioritize what is most important for you and go after creative solutions for those, because now, of course, the entrepreneurs, they have to deal with many things at once. They have to solve many problems at once, but calm, breathe, prioritize, organize. And then when you are calm, when you breathe, when you have clear vision of your priorities and you empathize with the people you're negotiating with, it calms down. That's what I sensed in this client specifically. He calmed down. The first 2 times we talked, he was in a rush. He was having to decide everything at once. He was, oh my God, having to decide, otherwise I'm going to break, and my God. But then when he empathized, when he prioritized, when he looked into his alternatives, he was less stressed. He was more calm. And then, of course, when you're less stressed, our survival brain, which is run away or fight, stops, right? And whenever exactly, gives you more freedom to connect and choose. Yeah.
That's a fantastic example. It really shows how you need to go through different negotiation styles, because initially it sounds like he was trying to be a bit more of a pushy negotiator who tries to get his will to keep delivering to people in one area despite not having an open restaurant in that area, by pushing them to deliver it from the other side. And then it took until he realized, well, it's not feasible for these guys either to have that extra fee and that extra delivery time and distance especially. And then it took him time to open up and understand, but by asking questions to then really calm down and get more creative about solutions. I think that's a fantastic point, because creativity is more needed now than ever, but in a way, because we're panicking, we're all over the place, and we get so emotional, as you said, it's much harder to be creative and to think of alternative solutions than if we're calm, than if we're rational, than if we're empathizing with the people on the other side, why they can or cannot do certain things. While it's the most important thing to now get even more creative than ever, look into more badness, as we call them, best alternatives to negotiated agreement, and find ways that are so outside the box that normally we wouldn't think of them. Normally we wouldn't have to think of them, because other times things are a bit more normal than at the moment. It's a fantastic point about having to calm it down, ask questions, and start being more creative and rational. Thank you so much, Camile, for that insight. All the best to you in Brazil. Take good care. And
thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.